Hello, Internet. It is I, the Malik Aaron, and welcome back to Box Office Predictions. Today we're going to be talking about the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the pros and cons. So, let's get to it. Pros. Okay. So, first of all, this is from Guy Ritchie. As soon as this loads, this guy right here. He's made some movies. Made quite a few movies, actually. There's the main ones I recognize. There's Snatch. There's the Sherlock Holmes movies with Robert Downey Jr. Man from Uncle. That King Arthur movie no one remembers. Aladdin. The Gentleman. Wrath of Man. And the thing is, with Guy Ritchie, I mean, sure, not all of his movies are big hits, but his movies are generally well liked, and he's grown himself a bit of a fan base, and I can't call that a negative. So yeah, the guy's built himself a brand, a bit of a brand, and I'd say like his name being attached to this, him making this, I would label that as a pro. Although, as you know, last year wasn't too great for him. He had two flops. The one of them was because of circumstances completely out of anyone's control, especially not his control. And the other was just, it was kind of screwed from the get go too. But yeah, I say Guy Ritchie's name, I label that as a pro here. Another pro is that the cast has some very recognizable faces. I mean, you got Henry Cavill, the Superman who was perfect. He was it. But Warner Brothers and DC just fucked up and it was a whole cluster. But he was like, honestly, he was like the perfect Superman, and they completely fumbled the bag. It's mind-boggling. But anywho, so he's known for Superman being Superman in the DCU. But before then, he was in Immortals. He was in Man from Uncle. So he already has ties to Guy Ritchie. He was already worked with him before, and he's gonna be working with him again next year within the Gray. But yeah, I mean, and he was in Mission Impossible Fallout as the main antagonist, where it's amazing that him filming that movie, he had a mustache. He was, when he had to do Justice League reshoots, he legally he was contractually obligated to not shave the mustache, so they had to infamously just remove it digitally, and it made his mouth look so wrong, and it was a disaster. Justice League, man, that movie is at least the theatrical cut. That was I don't even know where to begin with that thing. But Henry Cavill, well known guy, well known face. Everyone knows who he is. Poor dude's had bad luck just following him for years. I don't know why. But that's not all. It's not just Henry Cavill. You got Alan Ritchson, who's been in some movies as well. He was, he did the voice and the motion capture for Raph in the Bay Turtle movies, where with that first movie he apparently hated making. Besides that, apparently he was in the Hunger Games Catching Fire. Last year he was in Fast X as like a new antagonist, but everyone knows him from the Amazon Prime show Reacher, which was a big hit. So that's where he's most recognizable from. So yeah, and I went too far. I went too far back. Awesome. So you got like those two, Henry and Alan. Alex Pettifer, what has he done? Anything I would recognize? Let me see. It seems like I'm just I Am Number Four. Oh my god. And Beastly Christ. These are movies I guarantee you nobody remembers one bit. I seriously doubt it. I remember seeing I Am Number Four. I think it was at school. I watched that movie in school. I couldn't tell you a fucking thing about it. But it tried to be like the next big thing with like young adult novels, and it failed miserably, and now it's forgotten completely. We also have Henry Golding. Let's talk about him. I mean, things were going great for this dude. I mean, he had Crazy Rich Asians. That was a big old hit that no one saw coming. And he was in The Gentleman, a Guy Ritchie movie, so there's that connection again. And then he just had to make Snake Eyes, G.I. Joe Origins, a movie that was a total mistake and was a huge flop and basically killed any chance of him being like a big solo act. So that has to suck. But I guess he's recognizable because of that and Crazy Rich Asians. So I guess there's that. Yeah, we got some recognizable faces. Easily the most recognizable being Henry Cavill. So I guess the cast, I'd label them as a pro. Not the biggest pro, but it's a pro. And besides, having a bunch of recognizable people together tends to have positive results than just having them just be separate. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna label that as a pro. Another pro is that reviews for this movie are quite alright. Has a 72% critic score. Audience score is a lot better at 94%. It has an A minus cinema score. So yeah, overall, like, critics like it, audiences love it. So can't really call that a problem. So that's a pro. I guess another pro is that there's no real direct, like super direct competition. I guess there's Civil War, but that's way more serious in comparison to Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare. I guess this is more comedic. Yeah, this is more comedic comparatively. Like Civil War, that's a dead serious movie. and there's no real other action movies out there. I mean, I guess there's Godzilla X Kong, but that's been out for like a month. So yeah, there's really nothing, and there won't be like anything serious until May when we have The Fall Guy, which should hopefully do something at the box office. But we'll see. But yeah, competition is pretty weak, so I'm gonna label that as a pro. Okay, cons. Like Abigail, this movie, the hype just never really got going. It never really blew up with this movie. And maybe it's a marketing issue, but or maybe the studio just like gave up. I don't know. But just feel like no one really cares about this movie. No one's like talking about it. It's just there. So I guess Lionsgate dropping the ball with the marketing. Guess I gotta label that as a con. And I guess there's also the fact that this movie doesn't feel like super original. It feels kind of samey. It kind of reminds me of Inglourious Bastards when you think about it. I mean, both movies have like this very like even though it's a very dark time period in history, they have this comedic tone. This I guess with Tarantino's a bit more of a dark comedic tone, and both they're about killing Nazis. Right, that's the whole gist of like both movies. And yeah, and apparently I know Glorious Bastards, that was just basically like historical fiction. This is apparently based upon, it says recently, I'm looking at this from Rotten Tomatoes, like the description. Recently declassified files of the British War Department is inspired by true events. But it just feels very Inglorious Bastards to me. I get that vibe. I don't think that's great because it kind of looks like a knockoff. And even though that might not be the case, sometimes if that's what people see, that's what they're gonna believe. So nothing you can do about that. So yeah, the fact that this movie feels very samey, we'll label that as a con. Because another con is again depressed box office. Nothing's popping off. Nothing is. It's just sad, real sad. And until we get an actual blockbuster in the marketplace, it's going to continue to be sad. So, yeah, just depressed marketplace con. Its previews, I mean, like this 1.4 million, you probably think, oh wow, that's pretty good. That you gotta put a real asterisk beside that because this is technically 2 days of previews. Like there was a preview for like 600K in one day. I think it was like last week, and that got lumped into like Thursday previews. So the Thursday preview is like 850. I think 850K, which is like really meh. I mean, I'm pretty sure. I think Expendables 4 got the same amount, which is really not good. You never want to be compared to Expendables 4. I'm sorry, Expendables. My mistake. So yeah, not so great previews. I'm gonna label that as a con. And yeah, I think that's it. So opening weekend, well, we compared it Guy Ritchie's last two movies. You got Operation Fortune. That opened with 3 million. It'll definitely do better than that. And you got The Covenant, 6 million. It should do better than that too. Over Wrath of Man. The Wrath of Man was 8.3. Gentleman was 10.6. I think this could hit Gentleman numbers. I think that's achievable enough. So I don't know. 9 to 10 million. Let's just go with that. 9 to 10 million. Actually, I don't know. 10. You know, let's have it be double digits. I want to be a little hopeful, even though that might not work out, but it's better than nothing. So 10 to 11 million. Let's go with that. 10 to 11 million opening weekend, and a total probably like 30 million or less, just like Abigail. And yeah, that's it. Okay, we got 2 movies down, 3 to go. We got Spy X Family Code White, you got Sasquatch Sunset, and Wildfire. Yay. So yeah, stay tuned for those. But yeah, so that's it. That's all. Make sure to subscribe, like this video, leave a comment, turn notifications, share the whole drill. We'll check out more videos like this. I got playlists on the homepage. All previous prediction videos I made on the channel. You know, all the ones I made this year, the past few years. I want to watch any of them, go right ahead. There's also the canceled series where I go over all the movies that were supposed to come out but didn't. I'm pretty sure I covered Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, but I never put in the title of a video because the title was just way too long. And I gotta find it though. This may take a minute. I think I remember where I grouped it with. Gotta find I know what it is. Yes. Okay. I talked about it episode 226. Talked about it alongside Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, Godzilla X Kong New Empire, Mickey 17. And it's part of the more that I put in the title because that title is not going to fit. that movie title was just not going to fit, so I just labeled it as more. So I talked about that then, and plus 2 other untitled Jordan Peele movies. So yeah, episode 226, that's when I talked about it. So you want to watch that episode or any of the ones I've done on the channel, I've made 242 episodes. So if you want to watch any of them from beginning to now, you want to binge them all from beginning to now, I highly encourage you to do that. So go do it. There's also box office recaps where I go over the box office results for a particular month. April recap, that'll be around the first week of March. It will no March, May, god damn, May between the 3rd and the 10th. So stay tuned for that. But if you want to watch any of the past recap videos I made on the channel, you can go right ahead. And yeah, that's it. That's all. I am out. Goodbye.